press it. Look how sick this is. Stay tuned. Turn it on. Freaking sick. What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody is doing well. So today I'm tackling a slightly bigger project on my 2025 Prius LE. So I actually saw a gentleman did this on YouTube and I was like, yo, this will actually be a pretty good idea, but I'll try to take a different approach. He did it with like an actual like switch and, you know, with the fuses in the interior and stuff like that. And I actually know where the wires are in the interior to do this, but I really don't want to go through the firewall. So what I am going to do is try to go to the rear of the headlights. The only issue is, okay, and not issue, but the challenge is these headlights, everything is fully integrated inside of it, like running lights, turn signals, low beams, high beams, and there is no bulbs with wires coming out back here. So the challenge is to take the bumper off. I don't think it'll be that much of a challenge. Clearly, this plate right here, this is easy. These are just like 6 pop clips that comes off. Then you'll see a lot of room in here. I actually did the horn the other day, and once you take this plate off, there's a lot of room in between the bumper and the radiator to work with. Now, also to take this bumper off, we're gonna have to most likely take this plastic molding off, which is pretty much pop clips, you know, surrounding the lower region of this molding right here, this fender molding, and there's probably like a pop clip over here as well under here. And then we'll have to take off the lower plate underneath the car, and I'm pretty sure by that time the bumper should be able to pull off. I'm no stranger to doing things like this because I've done a lot of it, like say on my truck and on my Subaru, countless times with my Subaru, taking the bumper off, doing fog lights, running lights, you name it, and I'll put those up as we move along the process. I did a time lapse in the intro, and obviously you saw that the lights do work and they're actually sequential. Now, what comes with the kit comes with, you got some zip ties, some extra screws, but we'll probably be using the original hardware, and obviously your sequential LED fog lights integrated with turn signals. And it's a pretty nice piece. I got this, it was actually on sale. I asked the company, it does fit the LE model, but I got it for like around like $80 something on sale. There's other companies have them on sale for like 140. I got this, the price actually came down. I was looking at it, it was like close to 100, and then it went down like 15 bucks. I'm like, you know what, let me grab it up. Worst comes to worst, if it doesn't fit, I'll just return it, but we will see. And obviously the harness comes separately, it comes wrapped up. The harness also comes with this tap over here. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna use this tap. I'll see. You know what I mean? I've never used this one before. Some of these I don't trust because I have my own, but we'll see. And the cool thing is it actually comes with their own inline fuse. I think this is a 3 amp fuse, and I have a ton of those just in case if it was to blow. Guys, obviously inline fuses are important because if something malfunctions, the fuse is gonna blow and not the accessory itself. You know what I mean? I've said this countless times in many videos I've done. I've done over 300 videos on YouTube about different things, and you know what I mean? You know, wiring is definitely the key, and safety is definitely the key as well, where you know, you're making sure that, you know, the money that you spend on this stuff doesn't blow out. That's the reason why cars have fuse boxes, because if something goes wrong, the fuse or the relay is going to pop first rather than the entire, you know, electrical wiring system or what have you in the car. And, you know, obviously with the hybrid system, it's definitely more intricate than just a regular gas engine. So time to tackle this stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start taking the bumper off. I'm gonna time lapse it and see where it goes. All right. All right, guys, so not to interrupt the time warp, but so obviously saw the pop clips on the interior, and then under here, it looks like, I don't know if anything had happened before, but they actually have bolts on this side on mine, which I noticed, but no matter, they were just 10 mil bolts, okay? So also don't forget under here, okay, because there's this lip on the liner that goes underneath, okay? So here's the reason why we have to take off that molding, because of this pop clip right here. This pop clip will inhibit that bumper from pulling off, okay? And also over here too, underneath here, there was a pop clip here. The best thing to do, guys, before you do this, what I would do is spray the pop clips and stuff with some WD-40 just to lubricate it, because all the dust and stuff going into them, see how dirty they look? It makes it a little bit tougher to crack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray them down before I put them back in, all right? All right, so once you take off that front skid plate, guys, just be very careful when you're taking it off, because there's a lot of screws like this with a coarse thread, but there's also machined screws with fine thread. So be very careful with what you're doing, okay? Machine screws, the thread's a lot finer than a coarse thread screw like this. So be very, very careful and know what you're doing, okay? And also there's a lot of pop clips as well that you got to take off. So watch that. Now this is what exactly we want to see here. So this is that fake cap that covers where the fog lights go, and there are some screws that you got to take off. I think with like some of the plug-in Priuses, there's like a pump over here, so it's very, very hard to get into this area. So something like this would help you out a lot. This is like a right angle, low profile type ratchet, okay? So that will help you out. Take this off so you could actually mock it up and see how this stuff fits, you know what I'm saying? Now, for the most part, a normal screwdriver could fit right in here, but just in case, I'll put this in the description just in case you need it. All right, so what I'm going to do is let me take this off, and I'm going to mock up the passenger side. All right, guys, so this is an entirely different day. The day I recorded that last take, it's been at least, I would say, a week and a half after that, because I had to make some alterations, and let me explain. So remember, you saw me taking off these two screws over here, okay? Here's the problem. Now, this piece right here, this cap is just supposed to come off, and you're supposed to be able to mock up those lights onto this portion right here. But guess what? This doesn't come off. It's actually molded to the entire freaking grill insert. So that can't work. I ended up doing some research, and you can actually run fog lights on this, but you actually have to change the trim insert. You have to get an XLE trim or a limited trim insert, put it on this bumper for those fog lights to fit, because those are the ones that have the removable caps and the bolt pattern to match up. So here's what I did. So guys, needless to say, I was actually a little bit annoyed that all of this shit happened, but I ended up doing some research. I ended up contacting Car ID, and there was a gentleman there that helped me get the part numbers, and then I ended up cross-referencing the part number to a Toyota dealership all the way in Rhode Island. They actually had it pretty damn cheap. And look at this. This is gloss black, has flake in it, and they don't really come in the matte black portion. This outside portion over here is gloss black. Over here it's matte, like just like mine. But it looks pretty nice. Also guys, just beware, some of the part numbers, they actually have some with the inside of it, and I think over here it's like silver, so just be careful with that. But if you notice, when the part numbers that I'm going to link for you, what happens is they actually have caps that come separate. So because of that, I knew this would actually work. And then when I made it up the fog lights to it, the screw patterns actually work, because it doesn't work for this trim. Remember, I have a 2025 Prius LE. So to run fog lights, you have to get a different insert. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off all the screws, okay? Take off the bumper, take off the insert, put this new one in, and then we'll be able to move on from there. All right? All right, guys, so obviously you saw when you take all the screws and stuff underneath, you take off that little piece of the skid plate. Now, obviously, that trim piece over there from the fender comes off, and don't forget this one pop clip on the side when you take that trim piece off. Then you just pull this piece apart here. Right here by the eyelids where the running light is, there's some red inserts. Those go in right here, so this little piece comes off with it. That's in order to pull the whole bumper off. Okay, so, and also there are 2 bolts, also this pop clip here and a pop clip here to like release the top. The whole thing is pretty much like this falling off. And oh my god, look at this freaking moth. Yep, pretty much easy to come off. The bumper is pretty light, guys. Once you pull the bumper off, okay, see how I have it? The bumper is pretty much off. Don't forget to disconnect these sensors right here. This one right here, and there's another one right over here. That one over here. Don't forget to disconnect. All right, guys, so as you can see from the time lapse, the bumper is actually pretty light, and undoing that insert is super easy. Just take off the 3 retaining screws from both sides, and then you're just pretty much undoing clips. I'm talking about a whole 30 seconds to a minute after you unscrew it. All right, guys, so as you can see from the time lapse, the new insert went on super easy. It's just pretty much snapping clips into place, and now you can actually see right there the 2 holes on both ends of it where the actual fog light covers go. But we don't need covers since we have the fog light. So now I know I actually have the right part, and from the way it looks from the fog lights, I could tell that it would be a perfect fit. So can't wait to slap this bad boy on there. All right, guys, so it pretty much bolted up pretty nice. What I did was I used their screws to, you know, to mount the DRLs. So there's one here, one here, one here, and I use a stock screw just to put it back on this one, so it actually firms it up on a mounting spot. Same goes it over here. You got one here, one right here, and one right here, and I put a stock screw over here. I used their screw because there was a little bit of a longer screw, so I wanted it to hold properly. And then I ran the harness. Let me see, the long side obviously goes over to the passenger side, and I only put like some wire management 3M pieces, and I zip tied 2 spots because I know still this portion right here, this space, I know this portion right here, this plastic piece goes into that space. So I want to see if it's gonna fit and not protrude. If it does, I'll just move the wire. You know, I mean, I'll just cut the zip ties and move the wire, and let's call that a day. Now, let's see how it looks. So now we got the bumper right here, and now the DRLs look pretty damn freaking sleek. Yeah, that looks pretty damn good, I'll be honest with you. And that insert looks sick too, nice and freaking shiny. Damn, it actually looks pretty good. Looks really nice. The turn signal is integrated in the headlight, so now got to take the headlight out. So most likely it's going to be this bolt right here, this 10 mil right here, and I think it's going to be this one right here to get it out in order to get to that harness. All right, guys, so right here, so remember I told you one screw here, there's one right over here, one right here, and I missed one, there's one down here. You can just kind of like twist this out of the way and put like an extension for the 10 mil, and you can just get it out. Now guys, this is, you know, these new cars, man, they're coming integrated with you know, so that's, look at this, it's like an LED chipset. It's not even like a bulb. It's freaking crazy. But we know that the freaking turn signal is right here. So let me see if it's this gray wire. That light is so bright, it just freaking blinded me. Yep, come over here. See how it's beeping? Yep, it's beeping like over 11 volts. So the gray wire is the hot wire for the left turn signal. All right, guys, so the issue I'm having is where I got the car started, the DRLs are on, but it's not activating because I think because of the light. And also I put like a black object over the DRL sensor that's all the way behind the glass, behind the windshield, and it's still not activating. So what I'm gonna have to do is like probably change my plans a little bit, because I don't want to have to go through the firewall and tap into where all the wires are, because my hands can't really fit in there. So what I can do is either one, run an adder fuse to where I could run an adder fuse here, so you know, when the ignition turns on, the DRLs turn on. I think I might stick with that. And the turn signal is right here. It's on this bottom harness over here, okay? And it's the gray wire. It's the gray wire. And as I said before, this is not even like a bulb anymore. It's like, look, when you turn it, it's like literally a chipset LED. But it's freaking bright, I'm not gonna lie. It is super bright. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll tap in to both sides over here, one on that side, one on this side of the headlight for the turn signal, and I think I might just connect an adder fuse into the accessory over here and call it a day. If you want to tap it into like the parking lights, you can do that as well. The parking light wire, so there's 3 wires on this harness, okay? There's this black and white wire, that is the ground because I tested it. The green wire directly beneath the ground, it's not that one, it's the other one. So it's the green wire that's not below this one. that's the one you want to tap into if you want to tap into that that headlight circuit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to connect my running lights when I turn my ignition on and call it a day. All right, guys, so in this section right here, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 from the top, these 10 amp fuses over here, they don't have power when the ignition is not on. Like, see right now, it's dead, okay? This one over here, this is live. As you can see it, it's up. I know the Tesla's upside down, but it's reading over 12 volts. That right there is a headlight fuse. And as you can see right here, it's live. Okay, it's 12.4 volts. So we definitely don't want that because the car is off. So this 10 amp, any one of these 10 amps could work. This is like the battery fan right here. Okay, so like, see that? Nothing. It's totally dead. Now, once we turn the ignition on, press it twice. There we go. And we got action. So I have my added fuses right here. You can turn it off. I have my added fuses right here. And I think the fuse that they have on there, it's either a 3 amp connected to these running lights or a 5 amp. Okay, so I have tons of fuses. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I think it looks like it takes like an ATM fuse. I'll link all of this stuff in the description so you won't have a problem. But let me show you what I'm doing real quick. All right, guys, so upon checking the actual fuse size, this is a mini fuse. Okay, as I said before, this what I'm showing you right here, that's an ATM or low profile fuse, but that added fuse can work in the mini fuse slot. So that's not a real issue, or it's a non-issue. So I'll have both listed in the description, but what I'm showing you right here is, obviously it's a little bit hard to take off, but I'm just showing you where the fuse positions should be. So what you want to do is that 10 amp fuse from the fuse box, the battery fan fuse, that goes on the bottom row or the row closest to the prongs. Now the fuse that goes to the top, that one is a 3 amp fuse, which is in line with your accessory. Always remember that. All right, so the actual fuse, I just opened it up. I just opened inside of this. This is a 3 amp fuse. It's like one of those glass fuses. So that's what I'm gonna put right here as well. So I'm gonna put the 3 amp fuse in line with that wire. So if anything was to happen, the fuse is gonna pop. Okay, and you're not gonna damage the DRLs. So now I'm gonna insert this right there, and I'm gonna have my daughter turn the ignition on. Go ahead. Yep, twice. And there we go. Now I have power. So now we got action. So that's what's gonna power the DRLs once I turn the ignition on. And you just have to keep in mind though, if you have the ignition on, you know, with your car not running for a minute or whatever the case might be, you know, that might be a problem. Actually, turn it off for a second and do me a favor, press it once, just once. Okay, that's perfect. So the good thing is this fuse only turns on when the ignition is on. So the good thing is we can have our accessories on and the running lights won't be on. See, got no power, so that's good. All right, so that's perfect. All right, All right, guys, so it got pretty dark, and this is the perfect time to show you how this works. So right before I put this plate back on, let me just show you what's in the fuse box. So obviously, again, let's go over this. See it right here. I just ran it to the side, ran it down, so now I could actually close the fuse box without any wires getting pinched. Then I actually zip tied it right over here, so now it's not moving whatsoever. All right, so now I'm just gonna put this final plate back on, and I'll give you a quick demonstration. All right, guys, so this is next day. We just had a big rainstorm, and this is like the perfect time to get some footage. I did previously record the footage, but the car was so dirty from the pollen, it was crazy. Just want to say huge shout out to Oscar at Grieco Toyota. This dude was a huge help, and I mean huge. Dude helped me out a lot with different part numbers. I'll put it in the description. He sent me pictures, he sent me video. He was a huge help. I can't thank him enough for actually making this install a success, because I don't think anybody ever did this. Put a freaking different bumper insert on this, and this bumper insert is nice. It's gloss black, has a nice flake in it, and this is second day I went to work. Everything is fine. So without further ado, look at that super nice sequential. Left turn. Sick. Right turn. Oop, the rain is starting to come back down, but that looks super, super nice. Turn it off for a second. Turn it back on again. I love that sequential. It's super nice. And once you shut the car off, what ends up happening is when you power the car off, it actually takes a little bit of time for that latent energy to leave. So this shuts off like 1 or 2 seconds behind. Hit the brake and press the button to start the car. Okay, now turn it off. There we go. All right, guys, so definitely like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Guys, it was an easy install, but it was just a lot of work involving, because, you know, the entire headlight had to come out so you can get to the wires. And it's not like how it used to be where there was a bulb that you insert and, you know, I mean, now they're using LED chipsets. There's still wires coming out of it, but this was the best way. Oh, by the way, guys, also that add fuse I used, it was the, obviously like the mini fuse that can fit in the low profile slot, as you can see. So you can use either or. I'll link that and the low profile add fuse in there. So, you know, I mean, you can use that. You can use whatever you want, but that one I used fits perfectly. I went to work, 40 miles. I just came back from track practice with my daughter. No problem. Fuse is stable. I mean, the way I inserted it, everything is good. So it's actually, you can actually use it because the slot to put the low profile fuse is deep enough where you can insert that ATM or mini fuse. So it actually came out pretty good. Do it one more time. Love it, man. Love it. All right, guys. So once again, thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.